Hello, welcome to the House of Wellness, brought to you today from one of the most magnificent stadiums in the world, the mighty Melbourne Cricket Ground, the MCG. And how nice to be standing alongside Joe Stanley, Jacqui Felgate, Dr Nick Carr. Nice to be at the MCG with you guys.
Good to see you, Darcy.
You know, this is one of my favourite places on the planet. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether there's like 100,000 people up here in the stands or if it's just the four of us with that guy down there mowing the lawn. It doesn't matter what's going on. It always feels like there's great, I don't know, grandeur and tradition here, isn't there? There's so much history.
Joe, you're so right. So many amazing sporting moments, but also so many fabulous concerts as well. I really think it is the beating heart of Melbourne, isn't it?
Yeah, well, any place you can get together to celebrate, to support, to sing, yell your heart out. I mean, it's got to be good for body and soul, Jack.
Oh, it helps too if your footy team is winning. And I'm sorry, I have to mention it. I am a Collingwood supporter. My heart runs black and white.
Well, we're going to say congratulations, Collingwood on fire at the moment, but that's enough about Collingwood.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to move on. Well, one thing that unites all sport is you probably have to warm up before you get into taking on a new sporting challenge. And a social media clip that has gone viral in recent times around a strengthening exercise that is guaranteed to give you buns of steel. Check it out.
Squatting is something we do every day and don't even think about it. Bending down to pick something up, sitting on the toilet, getting up out of a chair. So strengthening the muscles that do the work will make life so much easier. For a start, there's the quads. There's 4 quad muscles that protect the knee and support leg extensions. You can build mass in the quads by slowing down the movement and squatting to the full range of motion. And by that, I mean really sitting down into that squat. Then there's the glutes. These are the largest muscles in the body and carry enormous power. Strong glutes equals a strong lower body and greater stability. And after a few of these, you'll start to feel those glutes really switch on. Hamstring muscles start at the hip and run down to the knee. They flex the legs for walking, jogging, any exercise. So strengthening them means less risk of a tear, more flexibility, and yep, squats are perfect for building them up. And if you want more leg power, then squatting is great for the calves and ankle stability. It does more than just static calf exercises. This is your all-in-one powerhouse move. It burns calories, improves mobility, puts a spring in your jump, and even turns on the hormones that build bone density. And if you're wondering how many, just start with whatever you can do. And in no time, you'll be squatting like a pro.
Well, Joe, speaking of extreme exercises, getting in an ice bath is maybe at the extreme end, and I have got very clear memories of taking you to the ice bath challenge. I don't think I'll ever forget that look on your face that day, Joe.
I don't recall you taking me. We went together.
Sorry,
right?
yes, we did, yeah.
And I failed to see how this is good for your health, because certainly my heart rate, it's an adrenaline rush,
yes,
but not something I enjoyed and will ever do again, I must say.
I did say I felt a little bit bad the second you jumped in. That was it was pretty painful. I love the ice, as you know, and had the great pleasure of spending some time with Wim Hof, the extreme athlete in the ice bath world. Nick's got shaking his head about it. But the most enjoyable...
I would never, ever do that.
The most enjoyable ice bath I had was right here at the MCG, if they can be enjoyable. And, Jack, that was getting the call from AFL legend Luke Darcy saying, will you go down the slide on the very first big freeze at the G? Neil's been fighting motor neuron disease since 2013, and so to take part in that event has just been a very special thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see you do it again, perhaps one day. But yes, of course, this Monday, June 12, is Big Freeze Night, and it is an event that totally takes over the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
And motor neuron disease, I mean, it's known as the beast because of its horrible, debilitating impact. So anything that we can do to help is absolutely vital.
And Nick, Neil Daniher is one of the most extraordinary and inspirational people I've ever met in my life. He was diagnosed back in 2013 with motor neuron disease. And as you well know, for a lot of people, it is a very short lifespan, and for Neil to put motor neuron disease on the map here in Australia, he's raised close to $80 million or more, and all that has been generated back into research projects to try and fight the beast and to find a cure for motor neuron disease. So we gather here on the King's birthday on a Monday, Collingwood and Melbourne's traditional game, and the Big Freeze has become one of the most iconic parts of the calendar. To have the honour to go down that slide, I want to see you. I want to see you too.
Let's do it as a team.
The House of Wellness Challenge. And I caught up with Neil's beautiful daughter, Bec, to find out all about this year's Big Freeze at the G. Hey, Bec, I still remember so clearly getting a call from your dad. Big Freeze 1. We're building a slide at the MCG. There's a freezing pool of ice waiting out. I thought it was the craziest, most extraordinary idea I've ever heard. It was an amazing honour to be in the first one. Can you believe we're at Big Freeze 9 and what it's done?
I can't believe you got the phone call and you said, yes, I will go down a slide at the MCG into ice. It
It's
was
your
a
dad.
fun concept.
Everyone says yes, your dad. No matter what he would have said, we all would have said yes for sure.
He's very convincing when he wants to be. But, I mean, you guys were the pioneers of the Big Freeze. It was such a concept that hadn't been rolled out before. And back in 2014, 2015, when we first started, no one really knew what M&D was.
Yeah.
So it was really about setting up the platform to talk about M&D. And standing at the MCG last year and seeing that sea of blue was a moment that I was just like, this is unbelievable. The amount of support and love for the Australian community, it's just so hard to describe. And we're so grateful that they've continued with us throughout all these years.
You've created an incredible community. I want to get to that, but my kids look back and go, God, you're boring, Dad. What were you thinking? Could you not have given more? It's like we didn't know. Can I ask you, there's been some great performances. Has anyone stood out?
I like the gloves. I like the gloves from your year, you know. I think that was good, but we've seen the costumes come alive. You can't go past Nick Riewoldt as Freddie. I think he's set the bar of not just dressing up, but performing. Like that was
next level,
it
wasn't
was
it?
next level. But we've seen really great costumes over the journey. Crocodile Dundee suited my uncle to a T. You know, Dad is very particular about his instructions, so he was supposed to wrestle the crocodile in the water. Missed that, so Dad wasn't impressed when he got out. But yeah, I think the costumes have added such flair. Dad's always been about let's have fun. You know, the beast may be grim, it might be a tough opponent, but we're going to have a lot of fun while we're doing this. And I think that's what the Big Freeze really represents.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the beautiful community you've created, Bec, isn't it? In the shadows of what is a beast and horrific illness that really we didn't understand, we now do, but the same way, every time I look at the Danihers, you're smiling and you're making it joyful. It's been incredible.
Yeah, well, we're lucky. We've been dealt a pretty tough hand, but Dad was diagnosed back in 2013. He's coming up to his 10th year of his diagnosis. Most people that get MND only last, less than 27 months. So to have Dad by my side, I feel very lucky, very blessed. He's definitely the puppet master in the back pulling the strings. So we're here to have a lot of fun. We want the Big Freeze to be really about making people feel good, making them feel like there's a way that we can fight back. And one day the Big Freeze will be no more because of everything that everyone's done to really accelerate this research.
How is Neil?
He's going okay. He's a tough bugger. He's tough. M&D's taken his voice, which is so hard. I'm a daughter first, so to not be able to sit down and have these chats with him is challenging, but he has different devices that help him still communicate. So he's got an eye gaze machine, so he can type with his eyes, and he's got a speaker that can say the words, and I love it because, he can sometimes change accents if he wants, if he really just wants to stir the pot. So he finds a way to get a joke in, get a heckle in, to stay positive. And yeah, M&D, it's a beast, and this is why we're continuing on this journey and why we can't stop, but he's still my dad and he's still pushing and fighting back.
Yeah, we appreciate you sharing that. It's a hard question to ask you. Can you give us an update? The money's done some incredible things into research projects. How are we going?
It's exciting. It really is. So we've been able to invest over $69 million into research initiatives, which includes research projects trying to get more drugs available for clinical trials. We've got clinical trials running so that people with M&D can access those and fight back in their own way. So when we started back in 2013, 2014, it seemed quite hopeless that there wasn't much being done. Now when we speak to the researchers, you can see that hope on the horizon, and they're charging and they're excited that the work that they're putting in, they can see that it's really tracking in the right direction and that one day that eureka moment's going to come.
And Bec, I always say to you when we catch up that buying your beanie is just a rite of passage every year. And I'm already, the kids are saying, where is it, Dad? So I'm catching up with Bec. I like to buy them off her personally. It is just something that we all do every year. And you need to have the updated Big Freeze 9, which looks fantastic, by the way. But this is my favourite part. Neil wasn't a fan of the beanies, was he? He thought it was not a great idea.
He doubted it. He wanted the bandana dust. It was crazy. And so to see the MCG turning blue, not with bandanas, with the beanies, is really great. And it's very cold out there, so it's a perfect time for everyone to buy one of these whilst giving back to a good cause.
Just a great joy to catch up with Bec Daniher and the Daniher family. And it is always, for me, a badge of honour to buy your Big Freeze beanie. This is Big Freeze 9. And can I also give a plug? You can buy the Big Freeze socks, Joe, and our junior footy club are going to wear the socks, only $15. So every one of our junior team are going to do that this year. So get involved in the beanie and the socks.
Yes, it's a beautiful beanie and so super warm. But what's great is lots of other people are getting involved now as well. A professor at the University of Wollongong, Justin Yerbury, has MND, and he's recently received a prestigious science award for his work fighting the disease.
And he's extraordinary because Justin is paralysed, so he uses an eye tracker to write his scientific research. It's just amazing.
And researchers at the University of Queensland have just recently announced that they're a step closer to a viable treatment and therefore hopefully a cure for MND. So you can see it really is that collaborative effort.
Which is brilliant news, isn't it, Jack? Great to hear that. Well, from taking an icy plunge to jumping off a sheer cliff, we catch up with a thrill-seeking high diver next on the House of Wellness. And Jack, I know you love your horse riding, but what about more extreme sports? Have you ever considered bungee jumping or skydiving?
I did go whitewater rafting in New Zealand and that was scary enough. But this Christmas, I bought my husband a skydive over the 12 Apostles in Victoria and he loved it.
Is that a message from Michael saying, you're expendable?
I took out a life insurance policy first.
Well, there is something magical about getting that adrenaline pumping through your veins, putting yourself in a situation you're uncomfortable with, Jack. There's something in that.
Like?
Well, for me, I'm terrified of snakes, so even this sounds pretty soft.
Big sook.
I am a little bit. Even the idea of holding a snake is extreme for me.
I don't mind snakes. We grew up in the country, so you sort of grow up with them and not worry about them too much. But base jumping is a whole nother level. You know that sport where people throw themselves off buildings or throw themselves off cliffs wearing nothing but a wingsuit.
Not a chance in hell, Jack, would I even consider or recommend that to anyone. But cliff diving is a different skill altogether, especially if you're a world champion, like our next guest on the House of Wellness, who flies in the face of fear.
It's such an awesome feeling to stand up there and overcome those fears. I think that's what makes me want to go back for more, because sometimes I stand on the platform and I ask myself, what am I doing here? I'm so scared. I feel like I want to pass out in a way, and then, hitting the water, everything goes silent. And you go, wow, that was a really invigorating feeling. I want to go up and do it again. I often like to say that it's like a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. That fear, you've got one side going, come on, Rhi, go for it, don't hold back. And then you've got the other side saying okay, calm down, it's risky, just be mindful. So it's a strange thing, but I have learned a few techniques and I've talked to people over the years that have given me pointers here, there and everywhere to kind of channel it in and to just overcome it.
So easy, boom! Oh, there's a 10 right there.
We're competing on heights between 20 to 22 metres. Obviously, in cliff diving, if the cliff is 21.5, then that's where it is. You can't change the natural spot. And the platforms are built according to the location. And we hit the water at around speeds of 80 to 85 kilometres. So the impact is quite a hit. We had family friends and they were gymnasts. There was two girls, Elise and Talia, and I remember one day we were playing at the front of my place in the backyard and I was watching them do flips on the grass, And I think I got a bit jealous as a kid, and yeah, I went into the trampoline club the next week, I guess, and that was it. When I actually started trampolining, there was a group of the trampolinists that were also divers as well, and you know, they were doing it for school sport. And somebody asked me one day, come into the pool and then try some diving, and I think I was around 10, and yeah, so that's where it all began. So for I think around 6 or 7 years, I was juggling the two sports as a kid. I was a little bit burnt out, to be completely honest with you. You know, it was a lot of time spent in the pool. The routine was quite repetitive, and I just kind of, I guess, fell out of love with it. And I had a few competitions that didn't go so well, and I was, you know, narrowly just missing the teams, the open teams. So I was about to break onto the scene, but at the age of 21, at that time I was thinking about joining the police force. So it wasn't really on my radar to continue diving, and I was invited to work on cruise ships as an aquatic acrobat. As a diver, and I took the opportunity and said, okay, this will be fun. I might do one contract which will last 7 or 8 months, and then I'll be done. I'll come back and I'll start my career. That was my first introduction to high diving, actually. You know, I turned up at the theatre for the first time and I saw the guys diving from 17 metres, and naturally with my daredevil kind of childhood and my skills for diving and trampolining, I saw them dive and I went, I'm going to be up there. I want to do that. And from that moment, I kind of never looked back, and I made it something that I was going to achieve. Like, there was no doubt about it.
So Rhiannan Iffland sending it in Sisicon.
My first competition didn't go well. The first one was actually a FINA event in Abu Dhabi, and I turned up, I would say, a little underprepared. I had the dives, but I didn't really have it all together mentally still, diving at those heights. And yeah, in my opinion, it was quite a tragedy. I turned up and I got pulled out of the water by one of the safety divers, mainly because I just let the fear of and the pressure of it all kind of overwhelm me.
King Kong Keeley Trophy on the line, number 6 for Iffland.
The best piece of advice actually came from my father, my dad, and it was like, it's such a simple thing that he said to me, you know. We were on the way to the first Red Bull cliff diving competition, and I said to him, like, oh, I don't know if I want to go, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't want to embarrass myself, and he kind of said to me, well, you know, it's only up from here. You had a bad competition, the last one. Just go there, enjoy it, and you know, trust the process, trust what you've done.
You thought me standing in line. Now I'm ahead of my time. You thought me wasting your
time. Ridiculous.
At the moment, I am thinking about a couple of new dives to try and push that barrier, but it's kind of something that you never know until you're actually standing there. And for the moment, I think I want to start the series, put a score on the board, and then start to play with some new dives, because hopefully a 7th world title is on the way. Let's see, that's the goal, but it's a blank slate starting each year. And it's a tough gig to be the one that's being hunted and to stay on top. Like, it's a tough gig mentally. So I think focusing a lot of my energy on just, you know, keeping a stable mind and staying in a good headspace is one of the main goals.
I think a lot of people want to make a positive difference in the world but just don't know where to start. And I felt like that when I read the book Half the Sky. This book shares the discrimination, the struggles that women still face around the world. And by ourselves, you can feel really like you can't make a difference, but together we can be a force for change. And that's how the idea for 100 Women came about. Our purpose is to ignite collective giving, to give everybody an opportunity to advance women and girls' access to health, economic opportunities, safety and education. If we all come together, we give a little, we end up with a lot in our grants fund that then we can give away to organisations that are supporting women and girls, and together we can make a change. Last year, we reached an amazing milestone of $1 million raised and given away. We've funded projects that have impacted 36,000 women around the world, and 100% of your donations go through to the grant recipients. 100 Women has proudly partnered with Austerlin because they believe strong is not what a woman does, it's who we are. We are passionate about empowering women's strength both inside and out. Austerlin's Project Strong has helped us fund life-changing projects in partnership with our members through our community grants. For those at home that want to support 100 Women, $1 from every Austerlin product purchased from Chemist Warehouse will go to 100 Women. And you can also become a member. Join us, join our community. For every one woman that we're able to support through 100 Women, they support their families, they support their communities. And that's why investing in women is such a great investment opportunity. Because when a woman is strong, there's nothing that we can't do.
Well, Joe, we can't get through an episode of House of Wellness for me without at least one amazing animal story and a couple of pet behavioural therapists, because we love our dogs,
We do,
as you know, are busting a couple of myths around dogs.
Yeah, so the old adage that dogs age 7 years for every 1 human year, not true. They actually age 7 to 10 times faster than humans.
Yeah, part of their theory is that the first year of a dog's life may be up to 15 human years, the second year, 9 years, and so on. So a 2-year-old dog, about 24 years in human time.
That's right. And then for every year after that, they're aging 5 years for every 1 human year. It's a lot of maths and I'm having trouble keeping up. But a lot of factors at play there too. There's breed, there's diet, there's environment. And I want to know, will they live longer if they sleep on our bed?
That's a very good question. That's another study, which in my mind means Dennis is about my age. He still behaves a bit like a teenager sometimes, though. Speaking of young at heart, Luke Hines is very much that, and he's trying out an extreme workout that really packs a punch.
I'm always up for taking on any fitness that will challenge both the body and the mind, but I have to admit, I have never thought about the idea of jumping into the ring for a bout of boxing. Now, it's definitely a sport that can build total body strength. It boosts aerobic fitness and develops your footwork, but it also challenges your mind in making lightning-fast decisions on your feet about your next move. And hey, if it helps relieve some of that day-to-day stress and anxiety, then what's not to love?
So before we do anything, we bring everyone together on both sides of the room and we run through the 6 punches, it's called.
All right.
So step back with your dominant foot.
Yep.
Lower your center of gravity.
Yep.
Elbows just relaxed. Boxing is more of a dance than anything else. We call it a violent chess match.
Oof. Noah, I want you to sum up for anyone who hasn't heard of it, which would be hard, what is Rumble?
What is Rumble boxing? Rumble boxing is, we take the sweet science of boxing and we combine it with strength training and we package it up in an incredible aesthetic and vibe that just makes you want to be a part of it, makes you want to work out harder. And it's, at the end of the day, a really supportive community that amplifies you. So we always say that this is group fitness for individuals and you have a good time doing it. So first 2 punches we're gonna throw is the front hand jab and then the backhand cross. When you're ready, you dictate the pace, especially with that jab. So we say, when in doubt, jab it out. Yeah, you just throw that jab, then you move a little bit, throw that jab, then move.
Talk to me about the bag work. If you've never boxed before, can you walk in here?
Yeah, of course. Rumble is for everybody. So we say that we designed this workout to be super inclusive, but challenging. So you work out to your relative maximum. So even if you're a beginner, you're pushing at 100%. If you're a pro, you're pushing at 100%. Then we have 2 more punches, the front hook and the back hook.
Hey.
So you threw that front hook. Now, just like when you threw that jab cross, as this front hand comes back, you're gonna wrap around into the hook. Oh my God, I had to get over here. You're trying to knock my block off. I call boxing this knuckle therapy. So boxing is knuckle therapy, seriously. So when I was younger, I was diagnosed with ADHD, oppositional disorder. I was getting into all types of trouble. And the one thing that always grounded me and made me feel better and more in control of my body, which often felt out of control, was boxing and jiu-jitsu and strength training. And so this concept that you see is literally a concept that saved my life many times over, personally. The uppercuts go either right to the gut or right to the chin, all right? So same thing, why I love these water bags, and we can talk about them later, is they're filled with water. Just hug this thing. Come here and hug it with me for a second. Right? That's so inviting, it's so lovely. Yeah. So all that energy when you're throwing goes through the skin of the bag, goes through the water as opposed to going back through your joints. So repetitive stress is mitigated by using this. So more power, more legs. You want to shift your body over that front leg and not try to muscle it with your upper body. Now, go back to the jabs and the crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4.
A lot of cardio type work on the bags.
I call it conditioning.
Conditioning.
Cardio is when you're like on the elliptical machine at your gym, like watching reruns of a TV show, not really exerting. This is, no disrespect to that.
No, I love that.
No disrespect. This is conditioning. This is endurance training. And endurance training, you gotta endure something tough. So, jab, move. If you want more power, you can step with that front foot. Let's throw that jab cross. 1, 2, then move. That's it. Straight down the middle, straight down the pipe, A to B. Turn that. Pop, pop. Now, no, come on. You can't drop your hands in a fight. Pop, pop, go off. You got 3. You got 2. Take a step back, keep your hands up though. There you go. Rip it. I want everything that's gone wrong in your life, everything you're mad about, to dissipate every punch. You got 3, 2, 1. Pause. So you spend 3 rounds, 3 3-minute rounds doing your traditional strength training, whether it's squats, lunges. The workout always changes throughout every day. So you're getting a full body workout with strength training, with weights, which is literally the foundation of any effective workout that's gonna make you stronger and healthier and leaner and all those things that you want. And then you go back for 2 more rounds on the bag and 2 more rounds on the floor to wrap it up. So it's 10 rounds total, not including shadow boxing in the beginning to kind of go through the punches that we're gonna work. And also a group warm-up, like I said, to really set the tone of community. Squeeze as hard as you can. Mind-muscle connection. Nothing else matters. We're right here, we're right now. We're living in the present tense. Come on, you got it. Squeeze, exhale. Beautiful. Now, drop the weights, lay it back, bicycle crunches. Come on, let's burn it out. Final 30 seconds. This has the ability to change your mood. This has the ability to elevate you, to make you stronger, to make you more confident, to relieve stress, and all of those things that I grew up needing. And I wanted to provide that for as many people as possible. And if that's not for you, guess what? It's still just a kick-ass workout.
Thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
They say when a few people are talking about something, there's a murmur. Well, I tell you what, when it comes to this iconic workout straight from New York City, it is a big, bold rumble. This workout is the perfect combination between boxing and strength and metabolic conditioning, but the difference is it's genuinely for everybody. It doesn't matter your age, fitness level, or ability. You push as hard as you can go to what you want to do. This is the workout that has the ability to not only change your body, but to also change your mind.
Just standing here in the stands at the mighty MCG, Dr. Nick, you can't help but think about all the incredible sporting moments that have occurred here since 1856. But I do feel like I've seen just about every inch of this amazing ground, from the wonderful MCC long room to the hallowed turf to the amazing artworks of names like Bradman and Tendulkar and the incredible MCG tapestry.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take one of those tours because they happen here every day. And as you say, they take you into all those hallowed areas and out onto the turf. And when you think that the Olympic Games were held here in 1956, it really is an extraordinary place.
Being here, you really just absorb the significance of this ground and, of course, what makes us, Dr. Nick, such a great sporting nation. We're back after this.
Hair is hardworking. Think about it. Brushing, colouring, styling. The challenge is on for our hair care to deal with everything that we put it through. Be kind to hair with the nourishing treatment of Hask 5-in-1 leave-in conditioner sprays. Formulated with naturally derived ingredients, this is one miracle product with 5 amazing benefits, including conditioning and detangling, adding shine, repairing and controlling frizz, providing thermal protection, and finally, hydrating and softening hair to prevent breakage. There are 3 products in the range that deliver healthy hair, no matter what hair type you have or what concern. There's argan oil, keratin protein, and curl care. Each one focuses on a different core benefit. And it makes sense. Just like we're different, so is our hair. Whichever you choose, shake well, spray generously into wet or dry hair, and simply comb it through. Then you're free to walk out the door. I really feel that hair is a representation of what we are going through in our lives. So I want my hair to be as healthy and resilient as I am.
I do love a hair pamper, even if it's just about getting a little 5 minutes or perhaps 2 hours and 45 minutes out for myself.
It does look relaxing, that, Joe. I tell you what I'm hearing, that an old-fashioned pastime that is coming back into prominence, Nick, is bird watching. I have to say, not one that's ever jumped out at me.
Yeah, well, I've never been a twitcher myself, Darcy.
What?
A twitcher, you know, a bird watcher, that's what they call them.
Okay.
But some fancy new smartphone technology, there's an app which has been used to show that bird watching is actually really good for people's mental health.
Well, it is lovely to sit in the garden and listen to birds chirping, don't you think?
Well, I hear what's happening in Scotland. They've had their first ever bee retreat, Joe, where literally people lie in wooden boxes. They hang beehives on the outside so people can sit there and enjoy the buzzing sound of bees.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is about what's called a ASMR, which is the Autonomous Sensory Median Response, or Meridian Response. And it's that lovely sort of tingly feeling. It starts at the top of your scalp, goes down the back of your neck, triggered by stimuli, and it makes you feel really good.
Yes, YouTube is full of ASMR, and it's all lots of different things that might trigger that sensation, whether it's tearing paper or whispering or the sound of rain falling on a roof. It's not for me, but I do know that lots of people find it very comforting and calming.
We just got to find that noise that's right for you, Joe. I love that white noise of a fan going off, even if it's a cold night. I like to keep that down.
For you.
At the MCG, I quite like hearing Collingwood kick a goal. That's like my favourite sound ever.
It's just the feral sound after it that we have to deal with, Joe. That's a challenge. Now, I'm not sure what Jacqui Bell, the ultramarathon superstar, does to relax after a 50K or a 100K run. Extraordinary effort that is, but we know in that sport, slow and steady wins the race. Since becoming a personal trainer at the age of 16, Brisbane's Jacqui Bell has always been passionate about smashing her fitness goals. But in her early 20s, a string of bad luck shook up her entire life.
I was playing AFL and I broke one wrist, and it was like, okay, one injury, that's fine. But then as soon as I got that cast off, I broke my other wrist, and then it just continued on. I broke my ankle, and then I broke 2 bones in my hand. Then I had my tonsils out, and I had these like chronic hives for 10 months, and it was just an ongoing thing of health issues. And I fell off the bandwagon. I wasn't really running or prioritising my health and fitness. It got me really, really down. There were some definitely really dark times. That's when I had to really think about what would help pull me out of this. And I think that it was running that I kind of just turned to and decided that that was going to be the answer.
By competing in a series of marathons, Jacqui fell back in love with fitness and never looked back. Before too long, she had set her sights on a much bigger personal goal.
I saw a YouTube video of one of my good friends now, Andrew, and he was running 250K across the Simpson Desert. And I guess that kind of planted a seed in my mind that I thought it looked really cool and like a good challenge.
At just 23 years of age, Jacqui signed up to compete in not 1, but 4 international ultramarathons.
So the first 4 that I did was in a series called Racing the Planet, and they're 4 of supposedly the harshest deserts in the world. So the hottest desert in Namibia, the windiest in Mongolia, the Gobi Desert, then it was the driest in Chile, the Atacama Desert, and then Antarctica.
Race number 1, we're doing 43 kilometres today.
Means that you're running for about 6 days, and it's about 50 kilometres a day, and the kicker is on about day 4, where it's a double marathon day, about 80K, and that's the day that really tests you.
Absolutely shattered. 60 kilometres into 84. And I'm just like, no.
I thought that I knew what I was getting myself in for, but I don't think I did. I had about 8 months worth of training to build up for it. But when I still got to that first race, my body hit a bit of a wall at about, or a bit of a wall. My body hit a hell of a wall at about 180k in, and yeah, it was very tough.
Feeling pretty good.
I guess that's the real thing in these races, is that's when your mindset really kicks in and you're tested, because you have to really crush that negative voice and you have to just ignore these thoughts of thinking you're not going to be able to complete it, or maybe the voice telling you you're going to fail or something. And yeah, you just have to kind of keep pushing through. After about 2 of them, I thought, I'm absolutely insane and these are really hurting. It was hard. They were really hard and I didn't know how I was going to make it through the first 4. But then after I did the 3rd one, then the 4th one, I found that I was really like falling in love with the racing and everything about it.
After going the distance at 2 more ultra marathons in New Zealand and Iceland, Jacqui ran 273 kilometres across the Grand Canyon in the US.
I guess it escalated quite quickly from watching a YouTube video and wanting to run one of them to then, yeah, 7.
Making her the youngest woman to run an ultra marathon on all 7 continents.
I don't know if it ever really sunk in or it still has. I kind of just set a goal and I was working towards it, and then I'd set a new goal and kind of just keep working towards that. And it felt good to have, you know, this almighty personal challenge. And yeah, I don't think I ever really sat back and was like, oh wow, record holder. Like, yeah. I've definitely taken away the mindset thing from the races, because, you know, I might wake up one morning and not feel like doing life that day or doing what's on the agenda for the day. But I just have to kind of crush that and get on with the day.
A sore throat always seems to burst into our lives when we're least equipped to handle it, whether it be during a busy time at work or right in the middle of the school term, or if there's a special event coming up. Doesn't it always feel like it happens at the least convenient time?
Unfortunately, we can't control when a sore throat happens, but they are more common in winter. Being indoors, in closer proximity with other people, may increase the spread of germs that can cause a sore throat.
And what are those germs that we should be worried about?
Well, the bacterial species known as Streptococcus is one of the most common causes of a sore throat. The buildup of this bacteria in the throat can cause pain and irritation, making it difficult to swallow.
Why is the throat so susceptible to infection?
Well, our throat is a really important part of our immune system, as it helps to stop the bacteria that enters our body through our mouth and nose. So when somebody sneezes or coughs, unwanted droplets can spread bacteria through the air, and it's our throat that may be infected first.
Treating a sore throat may help stop the spread of bacteria to family and friends. So what are the treatments that are out there?
It's really important to get plenty of rest if you can, whilst using an antibacterial sore throat gargle to help kill the bacteria quickly and effectively. You can also use an anaesthetic lozenge to help numb a painful sore throat too.
That's good for me, because the sore throat always seems to happen to me when I can't afford to rest. Betadine antibacterial sore throat gargle when a sore throat strikes. Available in a concentrate, which is great when you're on the go and has up to 15 doses, as well as a ready-to-use solution with no mixing required. Taken with betadine anaesthetic lozenges, it can offer a treat and relief combination for your painful sore throat.
Well, none of us ever like getting sick, Jack, especially for us males. It's always worse for us, as you know.
I do.
That feeling of a sore throat, razor blades in your throat, I think it's just about the worst for me.
I agree. I think anything that stops you from eating is not one of my favourite illnesses to get, that's for sure. But what's your favourite dessert, speaking of food? Mine's cheesecake.
Cheesecake for you. Well, if you're going to ask me last dying meal, it is a chocolate self-saucing pudding, Jack. That'll make me happy.
Sounds delicious, but listen to this. Scientists at Columbia University have used a 3D printer to create a cheesecake. So the first time a 3D printer has been used in the kitchen.
How did that one taste?
Look, I think you might give it a miss. It has just 7 ingredients, and this might be why: banana puree, Nutella and peanut butter. But perhaps it gives us a bit of a glimpse into how food of the future might look.
Well, I can't imagine in the kitchen having your 3D printer alongside your coffee machine, your microwave and your air fryer, but that may be where the world is heading on that front. Well, from foods of the future to a couple of post-workout meals that you need to hear about, let's catch up with Hines and Zoe with 2 of the best.
We are in our activewear today, Zoe, because we're about to undertake an extreme workout challenge.
All right, I'm ready. What are we doing? Burpees and star jumps and push-ups?
No. A different type of challenge. One for here and here. Who can create the best post-workout recipe?
And it looks like great minds think alike because we are both doing muffins.
Look, overlap was bound to happen, Zoe, especially when it comes to muffins. What's not to love? They're quick, easy and convenient. You just chuck it in a bowl, chuck it in the oven and you're done.
Too true, but what ingredients have you got going on here?
Well, Zoe, the hero of my recipe is actually eggs that bind it all together. Eggs are a fantastic post-workout ingredient because they provide essential amino acids. These building blocks of protein help maintain, build and repair muscle.
And while many athletes focus on protein as the main component, eggs also have a huge amount of other vitamins and minerals which are good for replenishing and repair.
Plus, they are so versatile, so it actually doesn't matter what time of day you like to work out, there is always going to be an egg recipe you can use, so top that.
Hey, I've got eggs in my recipe too, so just calm the farm. But my hero ingredient of choice is bananas. They're a high source of another must-have for pre- and post-workout carbohydrates.
Nah, this is actually awkward because I have bananas in my recipe too.
Are we just like making the same recipe? This is like the worst challenge ever.
No, look, I've actually got berries in mine and you've got chocolate.
Which means I'm going to win on the taste factor.
Oh, please.
But, you know, back to the bananas. Eating carbohydrate-rich food with a source of protein immediately after exercise helps your muscles recover.
Bananas also contain other beneficial compounds, such as polyphenols, which help prevent excess inflammation.
As well as nutrients such as potassium and magnesium, which help prevent muscle cramps.
A wealth of info, Zoe, but we're just missing one key thing.
What would that be?
We actually haven't done a workout yet, so no muffins until we have worked up a sweat. So why don't you start?
Okay.
And you let me know how that goes for you.
Hey, come on here.
A man's got to eat.
Well, today we featured some more obscure and extreme sports to get you feeling motivated and pumped here on the House of Wellness. And Dr. Nick, I know you're a big lover of cycling. We've got something that might be of interest for you, Jack.
Well, it's more of a fringe sport of bike riding. It's called artistic cycling, which to me sounds like something you'd find in a circus.
Yes, well, it's actually World Cycling Championship accredited and people can compete in a solo event, in pairs or as a group, and you get points for your manoeuvres.
And I've watched a couple of their videos, Jack, and they are absolutely incredible. But I have to ask, where are their helmets?
You would ask that. That's true.
Very artistic, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Just put a real flattener on that one, Dr. Nick. That is all we've got time for today.
Make sure you check out myself and Gerald quickly on House of Wellness Radio every Sunday.
And you can pick up the House of Wellness Lift Out with Mental Health Warriors Gotcha for Life on the cover this June.
Thanks as always to our great friends at Chemist Warehouse. We'll see you next time.